Today I would like you to reflect on one thing, but before this I would like you to give some example. Maybe you heard this kind of extreme, not sport, but maybe fun, what people do, and I think they call it bungee jumping or bungee jumping. Do you heard about this? Yeah. So it's like when someone who want to experience some sharp or some kind of intensive experience or something like this. So he find a cliff or maybe the bridge where there is a kind of steep, cliff. Maybe that would be a good word. Or so the big height where in the bottom usually there's some river, like mountain river or something like this. And so he tied himself to this bridge or the top of the cliff with a special kind of rubber or special cord. In a way, it's like elastic cord. It's it can become bigger and smaller. This kind of rubber elastic cord, and it's kind of strong enough. It allow him not to experience any pain while he jumped down. So he jumped down, fall down, and then this cord kind of pull him back. And this up and down going for some time until this, they call it kinetic energy is gone. And then of course someone pulled him, or I'm not even sure what's happening next. So I never tried it myself, but people who experience this, they say it allows them to experience death without actually harming themselves. So while they fly down, they experience all this adrenaline or any other kind of extreme emotion, and then they realize, okay, I actually not dying, I still alive. Like after this cord was successful, kind of saved his life. So again, it's not encouragement to jump down the cliff. Just this one of the example how people may enjoy something kind of very closely connected to the death or to the dying. So for I don't know, I would say for most of the people this kind of fun is not a fun. I know, like I would say majority would not like to do it, but some people like enjoy it. But actually, if we think a little bit more about this, and with a reference to some suttas, we actually all enjoy to some degree dukkha, what we have in our life, or suffering, or kind of things what on the first reflection they are on the deep reflection they are not so wise to do, but nevertheless we do it, and then we kind of experience maybe unpleasant result, but we do it again and again. Like it's a normal kind of personal behavior to fall in the patterns what in the past they have a habit to whatever, like smoke, let's say, yeah? And the person who is smoking, he time after time experience some lungs problem. It can happen, like caffeine or any other things, but it's not abstract him from stopping smoking, yeah. I mean, for someone, of course, but most of the people, they are kind of continue experience this suffering, but still doing this unwholesome action, kind of harm themselves intentionally. And of course, this example of smoking, I mean, it's only one thing. Many things what we do, like with overeating, for example. How many times when we overeat, we suffer really, like from the pain or something like this. But then next time, if something really delicious or tasty, we can again overeat, yeah. And so these things, we enjoy things would lead to suffering. Like sometimes even subconsciously in a way. We're not, like if I would tell to myself, I'm the one who enjoy the pain, I mean, it sounds like very, it sounds not right. No, I'm not the one. But actually, if we see the whole picture, I'm the one enjoy like the things what lead to the pain. Like, of course, there is some joy and pleasure there with the food or any other things. No question about this. But also, we all know that some things just lead to unbeneficial result. And sometimes we cannot do anything, just follow those patterns. So, in Samyutta Nikaya, in Samyutta 56, related to Four Noble Truths, like Satya Samyutta, we have a sutta called papātasuttaṃ. And papāta means cliff or fall, like what I just gave you recently. So one who finds big or high cliff. So he jumped from there. In that sutta, he didn't jump yet. So, and that, like, that time, the Buddha stayed near Vulture's Peak, near Rajagaha, and then he invited monks, let us go and visit this high, like, cliff, and the name, Patibbana. Patibbana, it's like intelligence, cliff of intelligence, that's the name. We, just this morning, we recite Patibbana Do, so we kind of wish intelligence or like sharp state of mind in a way. So they went to that cliff, and like of course it's very beautiful, very high, like nature and so on. And one monk just came more closer to the edge of this cliff, looked down, and then told to the Buddha, "Oh, it's so terrible, it's so frightful. This cliff, it's so huge, and like it's really so terrible, so frightful." And the Buddha said, "Yeah, okay, thanks for sharing." And then, like this monk asked him, "Oh, Bhante, is there something even more terrible, even more frightful, like than this cliff?" But he probably had in mind, is there other place which are same kind of experience? But the Buddha, of course, asking by this, Buddha would reply something wise and deep related to the practice, not just okay, go see some these things or that things. So, and then the Buddha say, yes, definitely there is some cliff and there is some kind of steep things which even much more dangerous and fearful. And then he said, like, when the one, like person or practitioner or whoever, does not understand as it really is the suffering, the origin of the suffering, the cessation of the suffering, and the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So, Four Noble Truths, as we know it. And when one or the person who practices does not understand this, what he do? He delight in sankharas, which leads to birth. So in this case, sankharas, it's kind of mental activities or volition which create some karmic result. So any kind of mental activities, most of the time it's just will or desire, which can create some karmic result, which can, like in later you would get some result. It's not just random thoughts what come to your mind, which when you not act upon it, like it's kind of no problem. But it's something what you act upon and it's creates some result. For example, I like go through the line in Teams and something like very tasty. I see something what I like, and maybe I reflect it was from the past. I don't know. I ate it in my childhood, or my grandmother served it to me, and I just miss her. So these kind of things can happen in my mind, and there is an activity. I want to take it, and maybe even I want to take it. You know, as a monks, we're supposed to like go according to seniority, according to the time of our ordination. If I, for example, was ordained 7 years ago, and like Bhante Devamitta, for example, was ordained like more than 40 years ago, so he's supposed to go first. This is our kind of custom in monastic. But like imagine in that situation, this was so like delicious for me in the past that even another monk in front of me, more senior to me, but I kind of sneak and take the food like faster than him. Because I was not aware of the situation. I was fully absorbed in that enjoyment of that, like whatever it can be, some sweet or some other food what I enjoy. So you see, this kind of like mental activity like can cause some unwholesome action. Maybe other monk can be offended, or I don't know, like of course maybe it's unintentional, but the action has been done and like it was kind of not nice and so on. So later he may keep grudge. Or, I mean, I'm not saying this, but it like there is a potential for this. And of course, in the world there are other situations, like you go to the mall, for example, you see some like dress or whatever, and you like want to buy it. And then there is another customer who also want to buy it, and kind of small competition who take it like first and who run faster. So these kind of things may happen just because I had intention and I believe that this make me happy in a way. I take this and this make my life much more wonderful or give me some joy and so on. And we kind of tend to, in that situation, mind tend to like become blind, don't see how my action can harm other people, how my action can affect other people, how even acting upon those, even more deeper, acting upon those habits, we make these habits much more stronger. We don't give us opportunity to like be free, become in a way the master of our mind. Because really, if we reflect on this, do we want to be the one who, whatever arises in my mind for some condition, I have to act upon it. So I don't have a choice. Yeah, there is no, they say, is there is a free will or not free will? It's like a huge question, like all modern philosophy and ancient philosophy, and we don't have much in the Buddhist teaching, like at least debate on these kind of things. But that's the thing. If some thoughts or idea arise in my mind, did I have a choice for this thought to arise, or just causes and conditions appear like this? Like in this example, when I went and I see some dish, what I maybe like, and then some thought arise, take it. Someone told me, take it. So it was not my choice in a way. I have some influence. I can act upon this thought or not act, depending on my skills, how to deal with this. But for this idea to arise, it just the previous conditions has been, and because I did act in the past, like for this thought, yeah, upon these ideas. This idea arise and I acted. Idea arise and I acted. And the wire in the brain become much more stronger. Like I want, I get. I want, I get. That's why this become strong desire in a way. So these things are conditioned in the past. Right now, I don't have much choice on those past conditioning, but I can condition things for the future. That's here I have some influence in a way, but it's not direct influence. If I say myself, I don't want to have these thoughts anymore, this would not work. I mean, at least not immediately. I may do something to reduce these thoughts in the future, but I cannot just immediately say, okay, I don't want to think about this. Even, very often, if I say myself, don't think about this, mind definitely go there, yeah? It's go opposite even. So, in the sutta they say, the one who, they who not understand Four Noble Truths, they delight in sankharas which lead to birth. So those kind of sankharas, and we not only act upon them, we also delight in them. Because those things, like when this idea arises about some favorite food or something beautiful or anything desirable, I not only want these things, I also like the thought in a way. You know how often we really kind of proliferate and enjoy, dream about something. We dream, oh, let me, go to the beach and do this and that. But when actually we come to the beach, it's not so joyful, rather than idea about this. So we delight in those sankharas which lead to the birth, because all these things, if I have volition or intention to delight in food, then I definitely would be born in this sensual realm, because otherwise how I can delight in food, yeah? How I can experience this sense, pleasure, what I want, of course. I mean, but we all know with pleasure come pain. It's these two things unavoidable. We intentionally don't want pain, of course, but because we want pleasure, the pain it's part of the deal. We cannot take only pleasure. It's not working like this. And this actually one of the thoughts what few monks and I myself also reflect. At the beginning, when you maybe want to be free from suffering, naturally you have some suffering in life and you want to be free. You want to be free from suffering. You not realize that times that actually if I want to be free from suffering, the pleasure should go as well, because it's impossible to really be free from suffering and don't have and have a pleasure also in a way. And this, studying Buddhist teaching, maybe have some experience, deepening thought to that area, lead to some kind of, not doubt, but fear maybe. The question arose, do I really want to go that area? Do I really, ready to commit myself to be free from suffering? Yes, but also pleasure. Is it really what I want? Like, I mean, of course, we speak about final goal. We don't speak about just things what can be attained sooner, because we know even in meditation practice, the goal to substitute the sensual pleasure with the mental pleasure, this is a goal, and this is what we need. That's what they call deep concentration or the jhana. So the people kind of to be able to abandon desire for food or any other sensual pleasure, we need something like spiritual. We need some other joy or any other kind of pleasure in a way, temporary for the time being, to realize more deeper level. Then let's go to more equanimity without any plus or minus. So, yeah. And then the sutta say, like, again, the people who do not understand noble truth, they delight in sankharas, which lead to birth. And then when they do this, delighting in these sankharas, they generate another sankharas, which lead to also birth. So, and now it's become like a cycle. So once you have this idea or intention, and you delight there, and by delighting, it's another sankhara, it's another mental activity, delighting in the sankhara, which generates the birth in the future. And of course, we know birth leading to aging and death and sorrow, lamentation, all this chain. Like in Buddhism, birth it's not a blessing. I'm not sure like how many of us really celebrate birthday, like happy birthday. I mean, at least in monastic culture, we don't actually know. I don't know when birthday of other monks. And of course, when I speak with my parents, they're not a Buddhist, they like say me happy birthday and so on. But it's just a kind of different culture. So again, delighting in the sankharas lead to creating another sankharas, and this is a cycle. And then he say, who having generated this another sankhara which lead to birth, the person jump down to the cliff of birth, cliff of aging, cliff of death, and so on. So it's just coming back to the simile of the terrified and dangerous cliff, when the person sit down and he's terrified, and he of course don't want to like fall down to this cliff. But he say cliff of the birth or cliff of the aging and death, it's even much more terrible, because like just if you see a whole picture with rebirth, with past life, future life according to your karma and so on, like just experience this small pain when the person fall down from the cliff and experience death. Of course, it's painful, but this not last for long, yeah. So it's but when person reborn again, how many pain and suffering we experience in this life? Like another monk, when someone asked him, Bhante, how we can describe the suffering of like early stage of life, and he say, I have to go to school again. So for someone, this experience from the school, it's like really painful. I mean, I don't remember much from the school. It's not my case, maybe, but it's interesting. Like when we see children in the school, and maybe someone who have children, it looks like it's like happiness. Childhood supposed to be happy time. Yeah, no any problem. But for someone, like even the idea that he has to go to school again, so painful. So it's interesting. Yeah, so that's the idea that if we think about something sensual, and again, why it's happening? Because we not understand Four Noble Truths. We not understand that there is a suffering. We not understand that this suffering have a cause, the craving, as you know from Four Noble Truths. And we not understand that there is an end of this craving. There is an end of this suffering by abandoning craving. And there is a way leading there for Noble Truth. I mean, the Noble Eightfold Path. We're not going there. It's another topic. So, and maybe another simile, what also unites this idea of jumping from the cliff. We have puttamaṃsūpamasuttaṃ, puttamaṃsūpamasuttaṃ. So it have four nice simile, because it speak about four types of nutriment or four types of food. And it says like the first type of food is just physical food, gross or subtle. Second, it's passa, it's a contact or experience what we have. The third is manosanchetana, or mental volition, mental intention. That's what we discussed before. And the last one is vijnana, consciousness. So we not going through all of them because it's a lot, but we may discuss the third one, manosanchetana, what's related to what we just discussed. So the Buddha give us nice simile. Like imagine there is a man who wants to live, not wanting to die, who enjoy happiness and oppose suffering. So normal human being, yeah, who wants to live, who don't want to die. He's like he live happy life and so on. And then the Buddha say, imagine the pit, the big pit or big hole with the burning embers or burning like glowing embers. You know, like when the fire is going, the fire actually is not the hottest part, but the embers there after some time it's the hottest of the fire. And so the pit full of those embers, and it's like very deep. And there are two men, strong men, come and they drag this one man who wants to live, don't want to die. They drag him by both hands, by both arms to this pit. So they kind of, for some reason, they want to throw him there and they try to drag him. And of course, the idea or intention of that person would be to run far away, to like really be free and run to opposite direction of this pit. Like this pit is on left side, he want to run like on the right side. So it's naturally in this situation, nothing here special. And so that simile, the commentary tell us that simile, why it's referring to manosanchetana, why it's referring to mental intention. Because one may say, okay, in this situation we can see intention very clear. If someone drag you to the pit with these embers, definitely your intention would be run away and you can see your intention. This would be the good occasion. But another way, what like commentary explained to us, that in this way, this simile represents the like usage or work or law of the karma. And in this simile, the two strong men, like on left side and on right side of the man, represent wholesome and unwholesome karma. That the wholesome and unwholesome karma drag us to the pit, and the pit represents just rebirth in this samsara, like birth or an aging and death and so on. So by doing something wholesome and unwholesome, we generate these sankharas, we generate these volitions or karmic activities, which lead us to be reborn again, which lead us in the end suffer. Like, of course, as we discussed, suffering comes with pleasure and it's come together, but in the end it leads us to the suffering. And it's so strong that, like in this simile, this man, weak, and two strong men just drag him. There's no way to escape. And same way, no way to escape the consequence of our actions. If we do something wholesome, we experience wholesome. If we do something unwholesome, we experience unwholesome. So in this simile, the first idea what came to my mind, it's like, why the wholesome actions represent like something like bad in this simile, yeah? Like someone which dragged me to the pit. Like, I don't understand. If I do some dana, if I observe sila, yeah, if I help someone, why is this so bad, yeah? Like it doesn't fit much. But this more like on the more deeper state, because even if we have aspiration go to heaven, we like doing the good things, we know the law of karma. Sooner or later, the beneficial, like whatever you accumulated or like whatever merit, it will finish. That's the nature of samsara. And then it may happen, you would be reborn maybe in this plane or even lower plane. So no one's safe from this. This samsara, it's like, it's not a safe place. Even time after time, you may be safe, you may enjoy, like, but sooner or later, situation may change. So these kind of things. And the possibility for situation to change, this is already suffering. Like, who wants to be, like, be dragged here and there by karma? Like, no one. We would like to be in control. Yeah. If I want to go there, I go there. If I don't want to go there, I'm not going there. So, but it's just impossible in this samsara. That's the thing. It can be in a way for someone a little bit depressing, like, oh, so bad, you know, being reborn here, what to do, I don't have a choice. Even committing suicide would be not an option, yeah, because like being reborn again. But if we know the way, because previous sutta, it starts from understanding or not understanding Four Noble Truths. If you understand, okay, there is suffering, there is a cause, like a reason for suffering, like origin of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering, and there is a way. If you really understand, and if you truly believe that there is a way, if you have some confidence, maybe you follow this path, maybe you did something what according to Buddha's teaching, like considered beneficial, and then you see in your own life, oh, I actually abstain from unwholesome speech, and my life become much more wholesome. Yeah, my life become much more easy. I have a less conflicts. I feel myself better. Maybe when I sit and meditate, this idea of regret does not occur in my mind. I can calm myself much more like easily. So some things you can verify, and this generate your faith. Okay, there is a way. What Buddha say to us, that it leads out of samsara. It leads like, I mean, of course, it can be many lifetimes job, but there is a way. And if there is no way, there's a kind of depressive thoughts and bad. But if there is a way, it's another story. Yeah, okay, it requires some effort. It requires some like persistence. It requires some understanding. And as Buddha said, Dhamma is like something to be realized by the wise. I need to become wise first, yeah, to realize the Dhamma. It's kind of a job. But good news that we can become wise meanwhile, while we study Buddha's teaching. And actually, I know many people who, before becoming a Buddhist or monk, was, according to them, kind of very low-minded and maybe like no any intelligence, no any wisdom. But becoming a Buddhist and study Buddha's teaching, this itself like generates some intelligence, wisdom, and so on. I speak about even intellectual wisdom and deeper wisdom, kind of both. So, and there is an interesting question. We speak about mental volition or intention which lead to suffering. Yeah. So what do you think? Mental volition or intention to become arahat, to be free, to attain nibbana, this mental volition would lead to suffering or not? Yeah, to some degree. Because if, for example, we had one postulant in our place who really deeply understand that this samsara is dukkha. I need to get rid of this suffering, and he experienced a lot of suffering in his life. But in the same time, he cannot practice. He have kind of low effort. He does not do his job because he understands that it needs to be done, but like the tendency and habits to be lazy so strong, he cannot overcome this. So he cannot make an effort. And you see this desire to be free, and because like he wants, but he cannot for some reason right now. And this creates even stronger suffering. He suffers even more than, imagine another person who never heard about Nibbana, who never heard about suffering. He enjoy his suffering in a way. And he lazy and he okay with it. He just lie down, and in a way he kind of satisfied with his life because he never even reflects that can be something deeper, something better, or something like this. So in that first example, desire or intention to get liberated can be a strong source of suffering. Of course, it doesn't mean that we need to abandon the desire. We need to work on another side. We need to make some effort. We need to generate some conditions. Maybe not now, but at least I think these conditions actually they're not so bad. Right now he cannot practice. He don't have enough effort to become a monk and so on. But if he has this strong intention to become free, sooner or later this intention would force him to make an effort to some degree. Maybe even not in this life. We don't know. Everyone different. But this intention or this kind of attitude, this already something very strong to reflect on the Four Noble Truths. To reflect there is a suffering and there is a way. So to summarize, maybe a little bit what we spoke, that it's needed to be in a way brave or honest with ourselves to accept that I am the one who delight and enjoy in suffering or in things which lead to suffering. So to admit it, maybe not accept it, but just ask the question, do I really delight in this? And see our daily life. where I may delight in those things, and see how those things which I delight really lead to suffering. Try to verify, try to make this link much more stronger. Because if this link is not strong, there's no way to be free from suffering. If I delight and then I forget where I delight, then later I suffer. If I don't make this connection, there's no way for me for wisdom to grow. But if I make this connection, even like that example, if I don't have an effort, but at least I make this connection, sooner or later this connection becomes stronger and it would lead to some effort. And meanwhile, no one obstruct me to do something good, yeah, like do some dana, keep sila, and help people. So be a kind of good person. But meanwhile, see where my delight lead to suffering. And the second question, can I abandon this tendency to delight? Can I be, again, it doesn't mean I have to stop eating, yeah? I'm continue eating, I'm continue do things which in the past bring me some satisfaction and delight. But I cut that, try at least, cut that tendency to delight, tendency to do things because of delight. You know, there is a difference, like when you do something good, yeah, when you maybe help someone, like many people do it because it's pleasant. I feel nice. Yeah, I bring some dana or I help to this person and it feels so good. Okay, this is very good. I mean, but what we're speaking about, if you find that you do it because of that delight, try to continue doing this, but not because of delight. Delight come like a, you know, like a byproduct. It's come anyway. Like this is a tendency. Something pleasant arises in our experience, the delight will come. But if our main motivation not to get this delight, but main motivation just out of compassion maybe, or like he just needs, for example, something, or even higher state of giving dana, it's like, may this wholesome action be supporting condition for my freedom from suffering. May this help and support me in the future to realize Nibbana. So this is amazing, and you can get so much delight on the way. The Buddha say, realization of the suffering is not pain. Realization of the truth of suffering, it's a joy, it's a pleasure, it's like really absence of suffering in the long run. It just may sound like, oh, first noble truth about suffering, you know? But it's something what's really source of joy. So yeah, long story short, see where I delight and see where I suffer because of the delight, and can I abandon it or not? Like just verify it in your experience. Yes, offer it for your reflection today. So